Hi, this is Girls Who Gab with Habs and Muffy. On this episode, we are going to talk about beauty. Listen on to hear what we think of beauty, what it means to us, and the role it plays in our lives. Cheers! Hey Muffy, it's Habs. On this episode, we are going to talk about beauty. Now, it's actually a beautiful day out, and I'm walking my dog, P. But that is not the kind of beauty that I'm talking about. Well, maybe it could. It could be, depending on how you define beauty. But we're going to talk about beauty as it pertains to our beauty regimen, the products we buy, the things that we do to make ourselves feel good, that type of thing. Now, I know that you have a daily beauty routine where you put on makeup. You often send me voice memos during that period, and it clearly takes you a little bit of time because you usually can say a fair amount, meaning you usually have, spend about 15-20 minutes talking while you're doing your beauty regime. Yes, my dog P is now barking at a squirrel. That is not such a beautiful sound. But it makes him happy, so maybe that's considered beauty. I don't know. And during your time that you put your makeup on and you're talking to me, I always hear this noise. It's like a little and it's hard to really replicate it. Other than, I know I need to find it on one of the voice memos that you've sent me because so far we have not been able to identify it. But it's a very relaxing and soothing sign to me for some reason. Maybe it's because it's like, it indicates to me that you're starting your day. Or I don't know. Maybe it's reassuring because it is a familiar sound, kind of like having a cup of coffee is a familiar thing that I do every day. It's kind of that routine in the world of so much unknown and unpredictability. That noise is a beautiful thing. Me, on the other hand, and I won't get too philosophical there, because we're talking about beauty as it attains to our face, our body, our image, and again, really how it makes you feel. I don't do a lot of makeup every day, and it's really declined after COVID, which is sad to me, but true. I used to, as a standard, when I was going out, lipstick and mascara, for sure. Always. Now I'm lucky if I get lipstick on. I like mascara, and I like how it looks on my eyes. But when there's nobody to see me, because I work from home, I don't like putting it on. Not because there's no one to see me, but because it's always a pain to take it off. Even though I use the Trish McAvoy, which is kind of rubs off and it doesn't smudge, I just hate taking off the mascara. And I don't use any kind of solution or special pads. I've tried, but it's not something that's ever stuck. So my routine in the morning consists of brushing my teeth, of course. Well, not always, of course. But no, I always brush my teeth in the morning. Sometimes I miss it at night, to be honest. Not good, but I do. And then I like to use mouthwash, specifically Listerine. I don't like any other kind. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to my mouthwash. And then I wash my face with CeraVe. I use little ear cleaners. I like to clean out my ears every day. I don't like the feeling of wetness in my ears. I know that's a little bit OCD, but it is what it is. Now, a lot of people don't like to use them. They think they're bad for your eardrums. I mean, I don't go too deep, but I do think a daily cleaning using them, keeps your ears clean. Now, A hates the Q-tips. He thinks they're bad for you, bad for your ears. He does what's called a splungy. I don't know if it's a word he made up or what, but essentially when he feels like his ears are clogged, So every once in a while, not on a daily routine or even weekly, he will, I think it's hydrogen peroxide, he puts it in his ear, then he lies down on the one side that he's first done it and waits like 5 minutes, and then until it bubbles up and there's a whole crackling sound, and then he flushes it out. Then he does the other ear. Now he does often get little nuggets out, which is so disgusting, I know. But this is his thing, right? I've done it every once in a while when I'm really clogged, or one time I did it on my friend Kay. She had the worst head cold, and I was like, maybe we should try a splungy. And let me tell you, like, a nut came out of her ear. Anyways, I did not think this is where this conversation was going to go, but I just had to share that funny story. So it does work, but on a day-to-day basis, not so much. Anyways, so, and then I put on some face cream and lotion and stuff like that and comb my hair, but that's about it. I have to say I'm not very good at putting on makeup. I don't really know how to put on like eyeshadow and eyeliner and all that stuff very well. So when I do put like more makeup on my face, if I'm going out, and even then I don't do it as much as I used to, but, I think that's a little bit of the COVID effect, but, I'll put foundation and powder and blush. But I kind of, and right now I don't have any eyeshadow. I've kind of gone through what I used from the last time that I had a little consult. Like every once in a while, I will go to like a Sephora or maybe like Bloomingdale's and have them like do some makeup for me. And I always try to ask them to make it very simple because I can't do all the steps. It's not in my wheelhouse. I was never taught how to do it. I'm not sure. My mom really never discussed makeup with me. I mean, I remember putting it on, like, for fun when I was, like, 12 or 13, and my mom and the moms, like, I was at some friend's house, and they were all like, oh, my gosh, they're wearing makeup, they shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. But besides that, I never remember my mom teaching me how to put makeup on. I know one time when I started, like, kind of being a little bit more serious about it, I got some makeup and I put it on, and this was like in our 20s. I know, you can laugh at me, and whatever they chose for me, it was like very like dark gray, and my friend S was like, what you doing? And I was like, oh, does it look good? She was like, yeah, like not really, but so again, like if somebody at the store, like I need a simple like 1-2 approach, and that's like maybe 3, and that's got to be it. Otherwise, like I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to take the time. I know sometimes when I'm at places like Sephora, they put the foundation on, and man, they're working on that for like 10, 15 minutes. I put it on in like 2 minutes. So that's what that says about me, I guess. Now, when it comes to my hair, I am very particular. I do get highlights. I like my hair to be a certain way. I'm very upset when it's not a certain way, and I don't change it. I don't get different haircuts. I've tried that. I used to perm my hair when I was like in college, and I have really straight hair. I have fine, straight hair. Now it's thick, fine hair, but it's straight. It does not curl. I mean, I remember the last time I got a perm, I came home and it was like kind of pathetic because it wasn't really permed. It was like all limp-like. And I was like, never again. And never again did I do it because I was really upset. Now, in high school, I used to crimp my hair. I looked kind of funny. And then I remember my senior picture. I used the curling iron and I made my hair like, it kind of looked like a little bit like Farrah Fawcett, but not with like the weight, like not with the feather. hair, because again, when I tried to do feathered hair when that was in, which totally dates us, I had to use so much Aquanet because it would not stay. It just didn't work on me. But my senior picture, I did like big curls, like, and I look like I'm all, waving my head in the wind, and my hair's like kind of like big Texas hair, if you will, or big Southern hair. Yeah, my hair's straight. It's flat. I mean, it has some volume, but not a ton. I have to say, when I was pregnant with T and J, my hair was awesome. It was so full. It was really thick. Still straight, but so wonderful. That's the one thing I miss about being pregnant. Probably the only thing, but yeah, I loved my hair and my nails. I had really good nails too. Like strong. They didn't chip. They didn't break. Amazing. So my hair is one thing that makes me either very happy or very sad. I highlight it. I cut it the same. It's very simple because I don't like to spend a lot of time styling. I like to blow dry it, and I always blow dry my hair. I never just keep it wet, because if it stays wet and then it dries that way, it just doesn't feel good. It feels weird and it dries weird. So it's simple and fast, and that's the way I like it. Ha ha ha. Yes, our minds go to sick places sometimes. Anyways, gotta have a sense of humor, right? I remember one time I did get a haircut and I decided to get bangs and something else. I was so upset. I remember I was meeting my friend R, and he's not like a warm and fuzzy guy, and just a friend, but we were going out to dinner, and I was so upset over the phone. He came over, consoled me. He was like, you can wear my baseball cap if you want. He was like, it really doesn't look that bad. It actually looks very nice. But I just hated my hair. Never again. I don't try different things. I've learned my mistakes, right? From my mistakes. Maybe they weren't mistakes. Maybe I had to do them to learn that I am just not cut out for that. I have a friend, M, who changes her haircut all the time. And I'm always just so in awe and a little jealous because I can't do that. It makes me so uncomfortable. It's just, my hair is who I am, even though half the time I have it up. I like my hair a certain way. The other things I like to do on a fairly regular basis is get a lip wax and an eyebrow wax. I don't like the facial hair, so as much as possible, I try and keep it clean. I mean, I think most women want to, although some women don't. Sometimes I'll be in a meeting or something. I'll look over and I'll be like, oh, that person has a lot of peach fuzz. Or, oh, they kind of have like a mustache. Maybe it's light, but you can see it. And yeah, so maybe that's not so nice, but it's true. I just feel like, oh, it's just not a good look. But only my opinion, of course. And especially as we get older, we tend to have this maintenance a little bit more regularly. Although, I don't know, when I was on the pill, way back, it's been a long time, I used to get a mustache a lot more. And now, as I've gone into menopause, I don't get it, it doesn't grow back quickly. It takes a fair amount of time between lip waxings. It always feels good, though, when I get it done. So those are my basic beauty routines. If this is boring, I'm sorry. I love to get a massage, and I think that's part of feeling beautiful and feeling good. I love getting my pedicure and manicure, specifically the pedicures. I don't always get a manicure, but it does look good. When I get it done, it's just, I usually chip them within the first hour of having them done, or definitely in the first day. I mean, I just got my nails done on Friday. It's Monday, and I already have chips in them. But my toenails, they need to be done by somebody. Professionally, I get them done about once a month. I hate taking care of my feet. I think they're gross. I don't like feet. So it's just so much better if somebody else does it, you know? And I finally found a good person to do my pedicure who gives the most amazing massages as well. Can't beat that. So I've only kind of hit the tip of the iceberg here. I thought I wouldn't have much to say about beauty, but clearly I do. So I think women have a lot of opinions and ideas and preferences about their beauty regimen and what it takes them to feel beautiful inside and out. I'll leave it at that.
Hi Habs, it's Muffy. The topic of beauty. Could talk all day long on that topic. Thank you for your thoughts and sharing your routine with me. I find this fascinating. I mean, most of the time, I don't know what people are doing to take care of themselves. I mean, I do a little bit with my patients. People will tell me stuff, but like the ins and outs, like you just went into, I just find it, I don't know why. It's like when I told you that I love to watch people pack their bags. Like I would literally pop popcorn and grab a glass of wine and just watch my husband pack his bag. Like that is so exciting for me. Like this is kind of that same kind of excitement, like listening to in-depth beauty routines. I don't know why I get off on this, but I do. So thank you for sharing all of your thoughts on beauty. I just want to pick up on your Q-tip thing. When we were back in college, our sophomore year, you and I were in the same building, the same dorm building, but we were not on the same floor. But there was somebody who was on my floor whose dad was a doctor. And he came to visit our parents' weekend, and he scared the bejesus out of all the people on that floor, saying, never use Q-tips. Never ever use Q-tips. He's like, it's the worst thing you can ever do. And both me and my roommate, LH, were like, no, we're going to still use Q-tips. And I've always used Q-tips, but every time I use Q-tips, I always think of this guy, this girl's father, who was like, that's the worst thing you could do for your health. Anyway, but your squeegee thing, or would you say splungy, feels interesting. I feel like I have some eczema in my ears right now. I was telling my doctor at my annual appointment. And so maybe, it's kind of on the outer area, not on the inner, but I was thinking, maybe the splungy would help me. Anyway, so of all the things you spoke about, that's the thing I honed right in on. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty, I think, neurotic with my beauty routine, and it's only gotten worse as I've gotten older, because it's all it is these days is maintenance. It's funny when I tell my younger friends, girlfriends who are in their 20s or maybe early 30s, now I'm going to go get my hair done. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to get my brow done. I'm like, oh, have a wonderful, spa day, self-care day. I'm like, honey, this isn't self-care. This is maintenance, required maintenance. This is not some happy day. I find the amount of time I have to spend on this stuff, or I feel I have to spend on it, both in terms, I guess, of my time and resources, is a lot. And I don't really feel like I have a choice. Now, I know there's this whole thing of naked face and just being you and going out there and doing you and whatever you look like, you look like. I've never, ever felt like that in my whole life. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school where people literally just rolled out of bed and went into school, hopefully with their uniform put on somewhat properly. No one cared, but I always cared. I don't know where that comes from. I was thinking about my mother. She always used makeup. And she always had so many perfume bottles all around. She did not teach me how to use makeup. I think I just tried and I looked terrible for most of my high school life. No one helped me on that front, but she always used it, and she always looked like she enjoyed using it, and that making herself up was like a part of her routine in her life that she enjoyed. And so maybe that's where I took it from. And I have to say, as a high school kid, I loved Bonnie Bell products. I just loved, they used to have them in all like the girls' magazines back then. And I loved Bonnie Bell stuff, like the lip smackers and just the kind of teen makeup stuff. Um, so, I mean, I'm thinking that may be why I take the time and always have. And it's funny when I see my high school girlfriends, they'll always remember me as the one who always kind of made myself look nice with my hair done and my makeup done and my uniform all pressed and nice. It was just always important to me. And that's why even when COVID hit back in 20 and I was just launching my private practice, and of course everything went online, and I mean, we were in a city that was very locked down for a long time, kind of strictly. I did the same thing I always did. I got up, I got into a professional outfit, I did my makeup, I did my hair, and I was doing it for me. I think I've always just done it for me. It makes me feel good. And then, of course, I feel like I'm ready to meet, the day and the other and my patients or whatever is going to be happening in any given day. Like, it's like part and parcel of me. So it's just always been important. And yeah, I go ahead and I do a lot of different things. I do talk to you. I do a lot of my voice memos to you on when I'm doing my makeup, because my makeup, I think we timed it. You asked me to time it one day. It doesn't take me that long. I think like maybe max 10 minutes. But the makeup is an interesting thing. I think you knew I had a kids party planning business, and I wrote a book that I self-published, and I got on, oh my gosh, it must have been over 100 local TV channels across this country with that book. And I had to like build party tables for the kids' parties, and I had to do all sorts of things. Never knew what I was going to enter into, but you have to look a certain way on TV, right? Well, I really didn't look a certain way on TV. Like after like the first 30, I was like, there's something wrong. I'm not building my table properly, and I look like a just shambles. Even with the makeup I was doing and the hair I was doing, I didn't know how to do hair and makeup for TV. So I came to New York for something professional back at that time, and someone hooked me up with a professional makeup artist who does like the makeup for people on the Today Show or these morning programs. And before I was going on one of these shows, she came in early, and I paid her, and we had a consult of how to do makeup and what colors would look good on me and all the things I always wanted to learn. Like you're saying, you don't quite know how to do it. Like I didn't either. And I still, by my own hand, I'm not very great at it. But she really taught me how to do makeup, what sort of makeup to use, what sort of colors will be good for my skin tone, and, different like blushes and things like that. So she really was, I think her first name was Mickey. If I remember her full name or I can find it, I'll definitely put it as a thing on the Instagram. She's worth knowing. She was so excellent. And from there, I always then did my makeup professionally for my TV spots, but then I learned how to kind of scale it back and do that in my everyday. So she was so, so helpful, and my makeup routine it includes, like a foundation. It includes like a eye kind of foundation that really helps brighten the eye because I have kind of dark eyes and deep set. I use a finishing powder. I use a blush and a bronzer. I use mascara like you do. I use eyeliner just on the top lid and a little just base, like a base color eyeshadow just to brighten again my eyes because they're so deep they can get kind of lost. And then a lipstick. And recently I've started using a lip liner to keep the lipstick on the lips because you get this old and it starts bleeding everywhere. That's what I noticed at the age of 52. So I think you heard me saying I have to add a lip liner. And that's sort of how it's happened. Like with my skincare routine, I think it was in my early 40s, I was like, I've got to get a good eye cream. And then like late 40s, I was like, I really need a neck cream. And then at 50, I was like, I need to start using serums. I never understood what serums were for until I saw that my like moisturizer on my face wasn't absorbing into the skin. I was like, I wonder if that's what a serum does. I was like, let me try. Once I put the serum on, then the lotion will absorb. This is what happens with older skin. So like as I've gone along, I've added things in, but I haven't done it before their time. And in my 20s, in my 30s even, I never tweezed my brows. I never colored my hair. I did do the makeup, but like I had very much more low maintenance. And I'm so glad during those years that I did. And then I didn't really start going kind of more higher maintenance till I really needed it at the age of 40. And that is when I started, I can't take the waxing on the brow line, but I did do the threading. Then the threader person I went away, she left, and I had to start going with someone else. It was just too painful. So I tweeze, and I have somebody who tints the eyebrow and tweezes. Looks great, feels great. I started doing that at, my 40s, starting to get my brow. My hair, I started wanting color. It was funny. I was in my town out west, and the person I was seeing for so long, she would not give me color. I don't know what that was about. I finally had to leave her to get someone to give me color. Isn't that like more money in their pockets? But whatever. I was like, there's just way too many grays. And so now I always have my base color coming in every 4 weeks because like last month I went 5 weeks and I start to see the gray patches like, oh my God. And then every 8 weeks I'm doing the balayage just to bring different colors. And I tend to go dark in the fall and winter, and I like to take it really light in the spring and summer. People don't like me light because I have darker features. I am half Indian. But I like it. I like being kind of lighter. So I take my hair in all different types of colors these days. Right now, because it's November, it's looking more like my natural hair color, but I also love it. And I keep the same haircut. I mean, I think, I went through a pretty major surgery a few years ago. It wasn't anything life-threatening or anything, but it was cosmetic. I had all these bumps all over my head, truly, and they had to get removed surgically. And of course, that was cutting into the hairline because these bumps were kind of in my forehead and all over my head. So I was always kind of hiding with my bangs, those bumps on my forehead. So I'm just now experiencing like growing out bangs and not having the need to have bangs. And because the surgery, when they cut in like the hair, I mean, they don't shave you anymore for such surgeries like that, but it all gets all messed up when they cut into the scalp, right? Like some of this stuff's grown in really fast. Some is just still starting to grow. So it's going to take like probably 10 years to grow it out. It is happening, but wow, like I just live for the day when I don't have bangs. I've never experienced in my whole life ever not having bangs because I've always had to be hidden. So I'm just kind of experiencing that now. So that's been really new so that's probably the one going to be big change for my hairstyle is just I'm wearing a little bit longer, straighter with no bangs, hopefully one day, as I patiently wait out for all this hair to grow out different styles and lengths. I do a manicure and pedicure every month. I'm like you, I've got to get the feet done, and I do wear polish on my feet, but on my nails, I just get a shiny buff because, as you just said, they chip within the hour, and I can't stand chipped nail polish. So I just always get a shiny, clean buff. I used to, in my 20s, do the gels and have long nails. I used to say, oh, you can't control anything in life except you can control your nails and having 10 beautiful nails. Now I don't care so much, but I don't put polish on my nails. I just shiny buff them. But I do get them cleaned up every month. So that's what I'm saying. Maintenance, the brow, the nails, the hair, and, the daily makeup. And I wanted to tell you about mascara. To take my makeup off at night, I always just use old-fashioned Pond's. Remember that old-fashioned cold cream? That was my grandmother's secret. She also said, never ever put water on your face. She never put water on her face. She just used the Pond's cold cream and then wiped it off. And I guess whatever moisture was from there, she allowed that to absorb in. And she did have very good skin, and my mother has very good skin. So I've got good genes coming down the line. But I do use water on my face. I do wash my face in the shower, and I do wash it at night in the sink with a Clinique cleanser, which I really like. I heard you say CeraVe. I was kind of interested in that one, what you think of that. But yeah, I do use water, but I use that old-fashioned Pond's, and all of it comes off, which I think is just kind of great. Yeah. I wanted to tell you about my hair, like you're talking about feathering your hair and stuff. Like I always wanted to look like Kelly McGillis in Top Gun. Remember her? The love interest of Tom Cruise. And oh my God, I could never get like hair like curly like that. And I had a little note to myself written after I had my last perm that said to me, if you ever think of getting a perm again, don't. Read this in case you ever want to do a perm again. So I get you on the perm thing. I'll look forward to hearing more of your beauty tips, Habs.
So, Muffy, I don't know if I have any beauty tips, but I did find it very interesting, your tip about the Pond's cold cream. I think you might have mentioned that to me before, or maybe somebody else, but I am going to have to try that. I'm not sure that I could not wash my face with water. There's something refreshing about it. I do use a very specific face cream that I got at Blue Mercury when, like as you were saying, like as we age, like as I've aged, I use better products and I spend more money. I don't have a ton of them, but on the ones that I have, I do, I am willing to spend money for a good product. My face cream, so maybe this is a tip, it's called M61 Powerful Skincare Hydro Boost Cream. And I really like it. You don't need a lot of it, very little, but I use it on my face, and I sometimes even use it on my neck and chest area because it's a little wrinkly from all the times that I've spent in the sun, which I'm okay with, and I know that you're not supposed to, but I'm still okay with it because I'm from that generation. But I know you recommended a product, I think it's called La Mer, that I am going to look into buying. You gave me a little sample for the eyes, and I really liked it. So I've been meaning to go out and buy it and just haven't had a chance. But so, yeah, I too used the Clinique soap for years and years. Well, yeah, for years and years. And then I was in Miami with some other girlfriends, and I had forgotten my face soap. And it's just one of those things I like to do every day, and that's how I start my morning. And so my friend A had this CeraVe face wash, and I have never looked back. I don't know. I just really like it. The Clinique soap started to have like a weird smell to me. I know I'm not trying to bash it. There are a lot of good products from Clinique, so don't get me wrong. I just really liked the CeraVe once I started using it, and I do know that the CeraVe brand is really good for people who have dry skin, because both my girls as babies have had, went through like really dry skin periods. They're better now, but CeraVe was always one of the products that the doctors recommended for the babies, for my baby girls when their skin was super dry. The CeraVe face soap or cleanser that I use, it's called Foaming Facial Cleanser. And I do actually just get it from like Walgreens. It's not very expensive. And I actually get the little travel bottle because it lasts a really long time. Again, it's not something you need a lot of to use it. And I like it. I mean, I'm no expert on my skin. As I mentioned before, I spent a lot of time in the sun as a child and as an adult, a young adult. And even to this day, I'm not that great with putting on sunscreen, which I know that you should, because I actually did get a little melanoma spot on the side of my face, close to my hairline. I don't know if I ever told you this, but it was a few years ago. And it started out as like a dry patch, and it was always itchy, and then it would bleed, and I was like, what is that? And I just never really thought anything of it, because I don't think that, like, I don't know that we ever had a history of melanoma in our family, and I know now that you don't need that, but I just didn't really think about it until a doctor was like, yeah, I would get that checked out, like, now. And I went, and they checked it out and tested it and did a biopsy, and it was. So it was I'm not going to go on my soapbox here about getting your skin checked and that kind of thing, because I'm not that person. But it was like doing the process to get rid of it. Like, I went in the morning, and like they take a little bit out at a time. And if it still comes back positive, then they go back. So it was actually a little bit traumatic. So no fun, but I was happy that it was kind of on the side of my face and you can't see it at all now. Anyways, yes, I also don't really like getting a pedicure. As you mentioned, I don't just get it buffed. Well, sometimes I don't get a pedicure at all, but recently I've been doing just like a light colored on my nails, because I always think it just looks pretty and very finished. Like, it's not like real paint, but it's just like that, like, very clear cream, white, or pink color. And Jay always asks me, Mommy, why don't you get like a real color? So I did the last time, but yeah, it's not even been a week, and I do see the chip nails, and it is starting to bother me. But anyways, I do like your hair actually light. I think you're a light person. I mean, you're a deep, thoughtful person, but your aura comes across as very light. And so when your hair is light, it just makes it even brighter. It makes you even brighter, I just had to say. Yes, I didn't ever think about you not having bangs. That must be a really weird sensation to be growing them out. And like, I'm curious to see what you look like when you don't have bangs. Because, yeah, I've kind of always known you to have bangs. But you did share that process of getting rid of the lumps on your forehead and around your head. And yeah, I'm sure that's very traumatic to the skin and everything. It takes a while to grow back. It's interesting. Jay has bangs, and she doesn't seem to want to grow them out or anything, which is totally fine. But T, my older daughter, she had bangs because she fell on a playground when she was a little kid, and it was right smack in the middle of her forehead, and it kind of looked like a Y, and one end is very deep and the other wasn't, so they couldn't, like, they were going to maybe just glue it, but they couldn't, and so they actually had to go in and stitch it up, and they said, always make sure you keep sunscreen. So so I did that, but I also had the bangs, because then that was just another layer of protection. But she decided probably around 5th grade, maybe earlier, to grow out her bangs, and she doesn't have bangs. So it's just interesting. I have 2 girls that have very different thoughts on bangs. Who knew I would talk about bangs so much? I think I didn't realize that you got the professional person to tell you how to do your makeup. I would love to have that. I would love to get a lesson from somebody who's really good in it. Not just the people that you meet at the counters in the department stores or wherever, because I don't really ever feel like they really teach me anything, but that would be fascinating to do. I'm wondering if maybe we could do that sometime. I don't know. I mean, you already know how to do it, but I was curious about it. The fact that you always made yourself up, even when you were in Catholic school and stuff, like you made a comment about how your mom said that it always made her feel that she loved making herself up. And I think that's true for you. I think you love making yourself up. And it's not a chore. And so I think that's great, Yes, I do remember the Bonnie Bell products. And as soon as you said that, and even before you said magazines, it reminded me of how I used to buy like magazines to look at different shades of lipsticks and all that kind of stuff, like Vogue and Cosmo. I don't do that anymore. I kind of miss it. But I don't know if it would give me the same kind of thrill that it did. Maybe. I also had to laugh because when you said, "Oh, you've gotten more neurotic as you've gotten older," and I was thinking to myself, I've gotten less neurotic as I've gotten older. Maybe not such a good thing, but and yes, I will have to share the tips about the splungy that A does. A would be so proud that I brought up the subject of the splungy on this episode. He would laugh. Okay, just a quick thing to say. I never thought that I'd have so much to talk about beauty and I could continue to talk about it. We might have to do a part 2 episode sometime. On that note, I'm just going to ask our listeners, what do you do to make yourself feel good and to start your day off beauty-wise? Love you, Muffy.
Hi, Habs. It's Muffy. You're right. The topic of beauty is just endless, right? I had no idea that you had a removal of skin cancer on your face or your forehead. Like, wow, what a process. Not easy. Or maybe you did tell me, but it wasn't in the detail that you told me here. And also I had no idea that T had that fall and that she's still grown out her bangs. It's funny what can happen to one's face and how it changes and what happens. Even RK, my husband, he has a scar on his forehead from when he fell as a child downstairs that didn't have carpet. And he still has if you were just to look at him, probably wouldn't notice it because I look at him all the time. I can kind of see it. And then he told me the story. So it's very real. I mean, things happening to one's face, whether it be something like skin cancer or a fall or these bumps I had or a scar. I like going to my astrologers and they always were like, there's a problem with your head. There's like a break in the headline. I'm like, it's not a break in the headline. I have all these lumps all over my head. But then actually to get those removed, I did have to have a break in the headline. I actually had to cut into it, which I was scared to death. I won't even tell you how many times, RK as a doctor, that fall before I was getting ready for that surgery, like asking like what was going to happen. And he told me, oh yeah, they're going to make an incision in the hairline and then pull down the skin and then shave all of those off or knock those off. That just like completely grossed me out. I mean, the fact that happened to me and that this is just totally gross to me, but like that they made an incision and pulled down my skin. It reminds me of that movie Face Off. I don't know. It just gives me nightmares that happened. Anyway, but I did fare okay, and hopefully these bangs are going to grow out. But, it's something, right? When it's your face, and it's beauty, and it's what you present to the world. Yeah, it's funny that you bring up my self-loving, kind of making myself up, and then my reflections there about my mother. Yeah, it was, I mean, she was of that age, right? She was born in 1944. She was not one of these women who burned her bra in the 60s. She was a very traditional, I mean, she still, I think, has the bouffant that she had in 1960 for her hair, her blonde bouffant hair. I mean, she was this typical, like, get made up, hair, makeup, the whole nine. And it never seemed to stress her out. It just was a part and parcel of her life. Like I said, she didn't really show me anything about that. She didn't pressure me to do that myself. But I just observed that that was an important part of her life, and the way she did things. I think she still does that to this day. I'm no longer in contact with my mother. But it's funny when you're not in contact with one's parents or my parents, how the tendrils of the relationship and what, you observed or what you saw live on. And you reminded me that is kind of a connection point back to my mother. I do think I enjoy sitting down at my vanity. And it's not just me. I've noticed that my friends who spend the night, and RK himself, who kind of does makeup on his face when he's getting up on stage to do the stand-up comedy, are using my lip mirror, because we understand at this age the lip mirror is everything, one that magnifies and lights you. That's the way we can see ourselves. Is a very kind of, almost meditative space and place to sort of put yourself together. And for me, it is. I do my hair, the top of my head I put into curlers to give myself some lift, which is also something I learned being on TV. I don't do the whole 9 anymore, but I do give myself a little lift. And when those curlers are in, I sit down at my vanity and I've got my little makeup like my mother, and I have that lip mirror like she always had. And I go about, and you hear it when I VM you, I go about my business putting my face on and making myself feel like I'm ready for my day, to see my patients, to go to whatever meetings, to meet any friends. This is an important time, those 10 or 15 minutes, and they're mine. And they actually are very relaxing to me. And I actually take a lot of time getting ready. I do my hair, I do my face, I take a long shower where I'm using a bar of soap to begin, and then I use shampoo, and then I do a deep conditioning, and then I do a light conditioner because my hair is so dry these days because I'm older. Here's what and then I shave every time. I think you also shave every time you take a shower, but I take a shower every day with my shaving cream, and then I go back over and use a shower gel just to rinse everything off. I like to have both bar soap and shower gel. And on Saturdays, I use a really strong salt on my skin that just sloughs me off. And oh my God, my skin at the end of that feels like a baby's bum. It's wonderful. I do that once a week. So I really take my time in there. I take my time afterwards, like moisturizing my body. Then I baby oil on my body. Then I put powder on my body, and this is all like baby oil, baby powder, and just, like a drugstore cream, lotion. But really important. And then teeth, because I'm older, I have to really care for my teeth. So, because I see the dentist every quarter as far as cleaning, because my teeth build up a lot of calci pretty quickly. So I have to go. But in between, I'm using the Diamond Brush Phillips head. And then at night, I'm flossing, and I'm using these little Praxi brushes against the back teeth to make sure all those are cleaned out. And I use a water pick. So I don't do all that in the morning. I just use my Diamond Phillips electric brush. And then throughout the day, if I get stuff in my teeth, I'm using the little picks to get it out, or just go all out and floss. So the teeth care as I've gotten older has been crazy as well. And then the hair care, I remember BC, the one who got us started doing all these VMs, told me that her hair person said that at this age, we should be using 8 hair products on average. So I counted it up. And in fact, I'm using 8 hair products. I use a shampoo, I use a conditioner, I use a second conditioner, I use mousse, a hair milk just to get, it's like a detangler. Then I use a mousse, then I use a anti-humidity, and then I use a hairspray at the end. And sometimes I use a spray that gives you a little more volume. So that would be the 8th. So I'm right there. And then about my makeup. And then like I'm refreshing myself too. And I don't think I came back to like being enamored with my mother's little perfume bottle. She had so many. I remember being a little girl and just she had them on this pretty mirror on her dresser and being completely enamored by all these little perfume bottles and just loving those and thinking, I want to have a bunch of perfume bottles. And so I have perfume and like, what is my feeling? Is it leather petals? Is it Freedom 53? Is it something Chanel that's pink and light? Is it something Chanel green and grassy? I mean, and I spray that throughout the day as like a little pick-me-up between patients and stuff. So that, I love the perfume, and then lipstick and refreshing the lipstick as I go through my day after I eat and this and that. So I'm like totally high maintenance. But I think my mother gave me that feeling of like, this is very, just a very relaxing, wonderful way of being a woman and walking in the world. And that is how I've always taken it. So I take like on average, like an hour and 15 minutes to get ready through all of that in the morning. But I had to get ready really fast recently, and I could do it in like 45 minutes. If I just don't stop and I just do boom, 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 really fast and do none of this talking or anything, I can just go real fast. But yeah, I could do a makeup refresh with you. I'll have to find her name, Nikki, somebody or other who works with all your gals at the Today Show and everything. Wouldn't that be fun? She's very good, and it is very helpful. And I think the magazines are great too. I do want to encourage you to revisit that part of yourself. I mean, we were talking about that as far as doing a vision board for 2025 and like just the feel of like looking through magazines, getting inspired by different words or images, but just looking through it just for beauty fun. You never know, right? So this topic we can go on and on and on about. I do really, I may, put in the, when I promote this episode, a little bit of like the products that I do use. I always say to myself, I do not wear kosher on my body, but I wear it on my face. And I think that's where it counts actually the most. So here's to beauty. Here's to aging with beauty in mind. Here's to being relaxed as we do our beauty routines. And no matter what those routines are, we're all beautiful.
Okay, Muffy, I'm going to try and to respond in a shotgun style in a minute or so. Yes, we all have some kind of mark on our face, our body that has happened in our childhood. Jay fell on Christmas Eve. The girls were goofing around with cousins, and she got a big gash underneath her chin, and A had to take her to the hospital. They came home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I told my sister-in-law, Kay, and she was like, oh yeah, I have that too. So I bet a lot of people have that mark. I find your surgery of removing your lumps on your head and pulling back the skin extremely fascinating. I wonder if other people do too, or they're also grossed out like you. I don't take a shower every day, but when I do take a shower, I do shave. I love my perfume, but I only have one kind. It's Dolce & Gabbana. I probably take about 10 minutes to get ready every day instead of your hour and 15 minutes. I'm impressed. And I agree. Everyone is beautiful and everyone finds beauty within themselves in their own special way. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to Girls Who Gab with Habs and Muffy. It was wonderful discussing all of our beauty secrets. I know we still have many, many more. So for more, please visit us on Instagram at Girls Who Gab with Habs and Muffy. Till next time.